What's up, middle school? Welcome to week 2 of our series, Awkward. I hope last week wasn't too awkward for you, even though, in full discretion and disclosure, this whole series we're talking about is about sex. So it's going to be kind of awkward occasionally, but hang tight because I think we'll get through it. Okay. And a lot of you might feel awkward talking about this because in church you're just like, I just feel weird talking about sex with my small group leader and the people in my small group and hearing a message about it, because we're either curious and we have a lot of questions, and so we kind of want to ask them but we kind of don't, or maybe we feel embarrassed and awkward to talk about this because the only time I've ever heard about this is from my mom on a road trip, and it was kind of weird, and I hope we never have to relive that ever again. Or maybe you're honestly just like, I'm not interested in that right now. Leave me alone. I want to play Fortnite, and that's all I want to do. Okay. But hey, regardless of where you land on that, I think the conversation about sex and sexuality and what the Bible has to say about it is an important conversation. And even though it might be awkward, I think we should definitely have and continue to have this honest conversation. So today we're going to keep rolling into our series. Man, I'm super excited about what we're going to talk about today. So let me go ahead and ask you, have you ever been passionate about something? Has there ever been something in your life that you were just like, oh, I love this, I'm so passionate about it? For me, in middle school, my passion was baseball. I loved playing baseball. I played baseball most of the year. I was on teams. I played center field. I had so much fun. My batting at the plate was getting better. I just loved playing baseball. I was finally learning, maybe some more important keys about the game, different signs from the coach and different cues and different strategies to the game. It wasn't just hitting a ball and running anymore. It was actually turning into a game of strategy for me. So I was obsessed with baseball. I lived and breathed for baseball. It was great. I played on the weekends. I had baseball gear. All I wanted to do was go to baseball games. I loved and was passionate about baseball. And I would bet that for you, there's something in your life that you're passionate about too. Maybe it's sports. Maybe you're passionate about whatever sport you're playing right now or whatever sport you're good at. Maybe you're passionate about your friendships. You just love being around friends and that's all you want to do. Maybe you're passionate about video games. Maybe there is something that you play on your Xbox or your PlayStation, or maybe even on your phone or on your PC, and you're just like, I'm so passionate about this game. I'm good at it. I love it. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Maybe you're passionate about social media and making the perfect TikTok dance along with the music, which I don't understand TikTok because I don't do TikToking. TikToking. Yeah. I don't do that. So anyways, you're getting me all off track here, guys. So, but passions are good, but passions can become unhealthy when they become obsessions. There's a difference between passion and obsession. And I bet all of you can think back to a time when you were obsessed with something. Okay, you were obsessed with something, you had to have it. You had to have that new thing. You had to be in that certain club. You got obsessed about something. You got obsessed and got consumed by something. Or maybe it was someone, maybe it was your first boyfriend or girlfriend. You're just like, I'm obsessed with them. I want to talk to them all day, see them all day, hang out with them all the time. You became obsessed with something. Maybe for some of you, I'm obsessed with Reese Cups, which might be something I'm obsessed with, but we don't have to cover that right now. You see, a passion is a love or excitement for something that doesn't cause everything else in our lives to stop. Okay, it doesn't make us ignore everything else. But an obsession causes us to put relationships at risk. It makes us have poor decisions. It makes us behave in ways that we normally wouldn't behave in. And especially when it comes to sex and sexual things and sexual behavior, if we're not careful, something that we weren't expecting can become an obsession. And that can be everything from a relationship to something that we've seen on a screen or on our computer. And if we're not careful, those things can become an obsession. And an obsession is something that is not healthy for you and not healthy for others. So what do? What steps do we take? How do we figure out if something is an obsession or not? And how do we figure out how to get rid of that obsession and get it under control where it should be? Okay, well, if you have something in your life that revolves somehow with the realm of sex, okay, and it's something that you are constantly trying to see again or do again, or you're thinking about it, or it's controlling your thoughts all the time, or it's all that you can even think about when you wake up during the day, or when you're alone, something like that consumes your thoughts, consumes your time, and consumes your energy, that's an obsession, okay, and that's not healthy for you. So we need to talk about what do we do with those obsessions. Paul was a guy who wrote a lot of the Bible. He wrote pretty much half of what's called the New Testament, which is like the second half of your Bible. And he wrote a letter to a group of people who were living in a highly sexualized world. Okay, it was a city called Corinth, and sex was a really big deal in their city. And so Paul was writing to a group of Christians who were trying to figure out, how do we live for Jesus, but also live in this culture where we've grown up, where sex is such a big deal and sexual things are such a big deal. So in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, Paul writes this. In verse 12, he says, I have the right to do anything, you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but I will not be mastered by anything. The older we get, the more freedoms we get, and the more opportunities we get for things to become an obsession. And Paul tells us, hey, listen, just because as you get older and get more freedoms, especially when it comes to relationships and devices and computers, just because you have the freedom to do something does not mean it's good for you. And especially in our lives, we, as people who claim to follow Jesus, should not be controlled by anything. There's another verse that I know. It's called Romans. It's in chapter 6, verse 14, and it says this, that sin no longer has dominion over us. It no longer has control over us. And if you have something in the realm of sex, whether it's another person or whether it's something on a screen, and it has control over you, that's not right. That is something that you need to get rid of out of your life. Just because you have the freedom to do it does not mean it's good for you. And just because you can do anything, Paul tells us that we should not be mastered by anything. So, what do we do? What do we do with an obsession? What do we do with something that's absolutely controlling us? We need to get help with it. We need to bring other people to be involved. Just like in a game of tug of war. Remember when you were like in elementary school and you'd have like field day, okay? And then you'd have tug of war. All right, just like in tug of war, you can't fight against something by yourself. You need to bring other people into your circle. You need to bring your parents, a trusted adult, another friend, and say, hey, listen, this thing that I thought was okay has now become an obsession, and I don't want it to be an obsession anymore. I don't want it to control me, because I believe our enemy, Satan, uses things sexually before we're married to trap us and to try and get us to where we're obsessed with something other than Jesus. And I know that because in John chapter 10, Jesus tells this in verse 10. He says, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. Which a lot of you maybe feel like your time has been stolen. Maybe you feel like because of this obsession, it's killing your social life with the way to interact with the people. You don't even like looking at people in the eye because of the way this thing has started to control you. But Jesus tells us this. He says, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Guys, I want you to live a full life. I want, when you get married, I want your sex life to be a full sex life. And if that is to happen, we have to make sure that other things aren't becoming obsessions right now in middle school. So let me challenge you to break an obsession, to get rid of something that's an obsession. One, we need to bring other people into our circle. We need to get other people on our team to help us fight against something that's an obsession. We need to recognize that we need help with it. We need to recognize that we need help to fight against this obsession. And then the next thing is we need to create boundaries. We need to create things that help us stay away from that obsession or the ability to get to that obsession until we are able to break that habit. That means bringing in another, like a trusted adult, a small group leader, your parents, a friend, bringing someone into your circle to say, hey, I need help to make sure that this does not become or stay an obsession. And maybe even, it might be time for you to delete some apps that lead you to things that are creating an obsession in your life. Maybe you should put some filters on your phone, something like Covenant Eyes, which will help filter explicit things from your phone. Maybe you should put boundaries with your relationships and say, hey, listen, we're not going to be alone in your bedroom. We're not going to be alone when your parents aren't home. That way, something that can be good eventually once we are married does not get abused and does not become an unhealthy obsession right now. Guys, I know this is awkward, okay? And I know this is a weird topic, but just because we can do anything doesn't mean that it's beneficial. And I don't want anything to be mastered over you guys and controlling you. So this week, make sure you take some time, figure out, hey, is this an obsession? And if it is, pull other people in, get some help, because Jesus wants us to live life to the fullest. And that isn't awkward.
Thank you so much for watching our Orchard Students Ministry YouTube channel. But don't stop there. Hit the subscribe and like button so you don't miss any of our content. And also share this with any of your friends and family. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook to keep up to date with upcoming message series and events. Thank you again for watching, and God bless you.